You how to use the Snowflake split monogram file to make an actual finished project. So I'm going to walk you through how to add the name to it, unite it so it's all one piece, and then you'll be able to save it as an SVG and upload it to the Glowforge user interface. So here's how it'll come. This is how it will open in Adobe Illustrator. If you have a different software, a lot of these concepts should translate over, but feel free to message me if you need specific help with that. So I'm going to come on over to my type tool. You can choose whatever kind of blocky font you want. I like a serif font, so the ones that have these little pieces. I think it looks nice and elegant. You can do a script font for this if you felt like it, but I like the Bodoni 72 small caps, and the commercial license for that is included with Illustrator, so no worries there. So I'm going to think of a last name. I'll just use the one from the sample. So we'll do Matzinger, and you want to do it all in the same case. You can do it in a different case, but then only the first letter will attach on both sides. So I'm going to just do it all in lowercase. Come on up here to your selection tool. Right click, create outlines, and then especially if you're using a script font, you want to come over to your Pathfinders panel and just click this one, which is Unite. Okay, that makes it all work as one piece. Okay, now you don't have to do this, but I just find it useful in my own mind to select both of the snowflake pieces, swap the fill and stroke just so that you're kind of seeing it all together. All right, so bring Matzinger in here. You'll see it doesn't actually fit. That's okay. Press Shift and resize. You're pressing Shift so that your text preserves its proportions. Otherwise, you'll end up with some scrunched up letters, and we don't want your stuff to be all stretched out. So we can do that. Decide how much of the snowflake you want it to cover. Okay. I'm not going to make it too. It doesn't have to be exactly perfectly on the outlines, but if you want it to be, it can be. Okay. Again, I'm clicking Shift so that it is preserving a little bit more of those the proportions there. So I have mine just like that. I'm going to scooch it up until it's just barely touching. It's just barely overlapping with that bottom level of the snowflake, and then I'm going to come up to the top and just nudge it down. I'm using my arrow key so that I preserve this horizontal placement. And again, I'm just going to make sure that it's just barely overlapping, and in this case it's not quite, so I'm going to just do one more just like that. And so you can take a look, okay, and see if you like that. I do, but what I want to do is thicken up the font just a little so that these little skinny pieces don't char and crisp off. It's probably fine, but I like to be, rather safe than sorry. So click it, go on to Object, Path, Offset Path. I'm going to do just a 0.02 inch offset path. That's one that I really commonly use, which is why it's already in there. And you see I've got preview checked, so you can see what it's going to look like. Hit OK. Come over to the layers panel. You'll see that the layer that is selected has the blue dot. Click this arrow so that you're getting to all of this, and then come on in and just make sure that you delete the skinny ones, okay? And you can zoom in if you want so that you can make sure that you've got the right one selected. So it's going to be this smaller one, and then on mine, it's just every other letter, and you can kind of see, that this one looks thinner than that one. So, but you can also be extra careful. Scroll over and make sure you're seeing it here too. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of those. I'm going to get the I, all right, the S, the T, move it over. We want to get the MA, and this one is welded or united together as well because they were touching originally. So delete that. Okay, great. So now we're going to zoom out, make sure that we're comfortable and happy with the placement of everything here. I am. Now, something that might bother you, it doesn't bother me, it might bother you, are these little tiny pieces there. I actually think that looks really nice and detailed when it cuts out, but again, up to you. Now that you've got all of these, take a look. You can select all three pieces, Object, Align, Horizontal Align, Center, and that will just make sure that all of this is perfectly centered and you're not just relying on your eyes, which are often not really good at telling. Okay, now select all three of these pieces and come over to Pathfinder, click Unite. All right, make sure that it united. Sometimes it might not. You want to hit expand and then do it. Okay, and now you want to change it back over to a stroke, and that way you've got your cut line here. At this point, you'll want to file save, okay? Or save as and rename it, and just make sure you've got that SVG ending, and you are good to go to cut. Let me know if you have any questions.